I go work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to like the way I operate. I make miracles happen.
LidLine Sports with my co-host Renault, Pepe, Bean, and Lil O Stevenson. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's happening?
I was ready to break out my shorts. I saw the temperature going up in Seattle, and the sun was coming out, and I thought my shorts would be coming out soon. But then I woke up this morning, I had icicles dripping from my car. Man, that was bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
My car was frozen.
Welcome to Seattle. You get all 4 seasons in one day.
Man, welcome to global warming. Well, also in Seattle, fellas, the Russell Wilson saga continues. We talked about what Russell would say last week, and the story about Russ getting traded is not going away. Adjust myself right here. Okay. Is not going away. And today I read that the Bears said that they were going to, what were their exact words? They want to make a run at Russell Wilson. The Chicago Bears, who've never had a quarterback. Thoughts?
What are they going to make a run with? What do they have that's going to entice Seattle to make that trade? They got one guy that I like. I mean, and that's Khalil Mack. But it's going to take more than that.
Yeah.
I like Khalil Mack, but I mean, that's literally like the last resort. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Pep. I mean, nobody has anything to give the Seattle Seahawks that's worth what Russell Wilson is to the team. And I mean, I understand that when a player asks for a trade, the value of what you ask for back is diminished a little bit, but it's so early right now. I want to see this play out over the next couple weeks.
Well, here's the thing. The Seahawks, we talked about this last week. They would take a $39 million dead cap hit if they traded Russell Wilson. However, if they trade him after June 1st, they would save $19 million if they traded him after June 1st. Before June 1st, it would be a $39 million cap hit. So that is not going to happen probably before June 1st for sure, if it happens at all. The other thing that may or may not be attractive to Pete Carroll, who wants to run the ball, or as he would say, have a balanced offense, 50% run, 50% pass, is the Bears throwing in David Montgomery, their second-year running back, who had over 1,000 yards last season. So that may be attractive to Pete because the Seahawks' number one running back, Chris Carson, is a free agent. So right now, their running back situation looks pretty precarious. You don't know what you're going to get from Rashard Penny, the number one draft pick a few years ago. And they signed Alex Collins, who they drafted and had one good year with Baltimore, looked pretty good in a little bit of action he had this year with the Seahawks, so they re-signed him. Then they have the rookie in his second year, DJ Dallas. That's their running back room. So would David Montgomery be something that they might want in exchange for Russell Wilson and draft picks and whatever? I think that if they do anything, personally, it's going to have to involve another team. And a 3-team trade somehow worked out that gives the Seahawks what they want, that third-party team what they want, and then the Bears that want Russell Wilson, if that's going to happen. Adam Schefter also reported today that there were people inside the Seahawks organization that said that they were indeed interested in trading Russell Wilson. which is ludicrous. But, Pep, we've seen this nonsense before in Seattle. They traded Dennis Johnson to the Phoenix Suns the year after he won the NBA championship MVP.
Right.
Right, Pep?
That's correct.
How bizarre was that?
Yeah. Yeah, things went south right after they lost to the Lakers.
Otis, the Sonics won their only championship in 1979. Dennis Johnson was the MVP. The next year, they traded him to your Suns.
You know, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the sequence went down like that. Did it? Was it like a money issue?
I don't care what kind of issue.
No, you're right. I just know, like back then, like
it really wasn't a money issue. Couldn't have been a
Okay.
money issue. He'd only been in the league a few years.
Mhm.
I mean, he went on to win 2 championships with the Boston Celtics. He's a Hall of Famer,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Doesn't make
So that lets you know that these people up here are drinking some different kind of water. It's clean water, and it might be messing with their brain a little bit because they've come from places that don't have clean water, maybe. They make some crazy decisions. And we're not even going to talk about the Seattle Mariners and all the players that they've given up. Right,
Oh, my God. Yeah. Wow.
And so those of us, and I'll be the first to say, y'all, I was like, Russ ain't going nowhere. I was like the first to say that. Now, he's probably out the door. I got my money on the other side of the fence on that now. I'm like, I think he's out the door. It's like, you know, going on too long for it not to be. And I think that I was talking to Sarah Marshall about this, or you know, on our LidLine Sports group with her talking about it. I'm like, well, hey, let's not forget this. I always say that what a person has done is a good indication of what they're going to do, because people don't change that much. So when Russell Wilson felt disrespected and unappreciated at North Carolina State, what'd he do? He
transfer.
left and went to Wisconsin, right? And led the nation in passing, won the Big Ten, took them to the Rose Bowl. So that lets me know that if he feels like he's disrespected and unappreciated in Seattle, yeah, he wants out, right? He's
Right.
like, I can go somewhere else, somewhere where they appreciate me and want me and will let me shine like I want to shine. And I was listening to Bomani Jones on Highly Questionable, and he keeps saying this, and I've heard him say it twice on the show. It's one of my favorite shows. He said that if the Seahawks don't think that Russell Wilson is as good as he thinks he is, then he needs to go. So maybe they don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. And Russell Wilson feels like, I need to go somewhere where people think I'm better than what the Seahawks think I am, and give me the opportunity to shine. So we'll keep following that. Not going to belabor that. Notice that Creighton University's coach, Doug McDermott, was reinstated today. He had a little slip of the tongue while talking to his players. He told them that they needed to stay on the plantation. For those of you who missed that. So he was suspended a little bit. He apologized and said he didn't mean to say it. I've already said I've got issues with it in the first place. I mean, who comes up with stay on the plantation talking to a group of a group that includes a bunch of black kids? And so, okay, Doug, Greg, we accept your apology, but Stay off the plantation. There's a lot more things that you could have said, like let's stay together. Let's keep this team together. Let's not go south. Whatever, right? Other than stay off the plantation. So, and I don't get that where he said I immediately recognized my egregious action. No, you did not, because he said I need you to stay on the plantation twice. So after the first time it came out of your mouth, you should have self-corrected then. Like, I don't know. I work in coaching basketball in a very prestigious institution. I know that there's things that I cannot say and cannot even broach saying. So, and if I did say something wrong, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I would recognize that and immediately retract it and apologize to whoever I was talking with, especially if it was our players. So I don't see how you could say something twice and then say that you automatically corrected it. But I'll get off of that soapbox. But that's the world we live in. I just have pretty much right now a low tolerance for white coaches that say racially insensitive stuff in today's climate when you should know better. I have a very low tolerance. That goes for Tommy Tuberville. That goes for Mike Gundy. That goes for Lou Holtz. Whoever that I've heard over the last year or two say racially insensitive stuff, and you have or are a leader of black men. I've got a real problem with that. And that just, to me, makes me seem like or feel like you are or you feel like you have an overseer mentality and your players are not really men and or women, but they're subservient somehow, and you're a lord over them, so to speak. That's how I feel about it. I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but that's how I feel about it as a basketball coach and a fellow coach. All right, so off my soapbox on that. On to the NFL. Pep?
Yeah, well, we got some breaking news today. Report on NFL.com. It's reported on NFL.com that Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys have reached an agreement on a contract extension. Reportedly, it will be maxed out at $164 million with incentives and a base salary of $160 without incentives, with a record $126 million guaranteed. Dak got 4 years, which is what he wanted. Management of Dallas, they wanted 5 years, but he got his way, so he gets 4 years. The cap hit details will have to come later when all the logistical numbers are released, and you can scratch Dallas off the list of places that Russell Wilson could go. So now it's down to what? The Raiders?
Not really. They could still arrange a trade.
Both. Okay, so Dak does have a no trade, just like RW. Okay,
they can still arrange a trade.
I understand. Listen, I hear you. I'm not saying it won't. I'm not disagreeing with you. But the thing about it is, we're talking money here. You got to figure. There's already a issue with money with Russell. Dak makes.
Hold on, Pat. Let me play devil's advocate.
All right, go ahead.
If you're Dak Prescott, would you want to be the Seahawks quarterback or the Dallas Cowboys quarterback?
Well, he probably. Well, listen, that's a question only he can answer. But
I just said if you were Dak Prescott.
But okay, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm staying where I'm at because I know I'm comfortable.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, but you might feel different. I hear you, and listen, you make a good point. But Dallas, they feel in Dallas that they're on the come up, and they may very well be. I don't know yet, and we're going to find out because Dak's going to get 4 years to find out what he can do because that's the window. Okay, that's his window. He's got 4 years to get them to the Super Bowl. If he doesn't get them there, then who knows what happens after that? But he's got 4 years and all that money coming to get them to where they want to be. Now, if you hypothetically saying that they could arrange a trade, well, Seattle's already having issues with Russell's contract. What kind of issues do you think they would have with Dax? Because Dax is bigger. So
it depends on. I haven't looked at his contract, but it depends on how much he's making next year. I mean, because it could be like a home contract where the bulk of it goes at the end of the contract. So I don't know.
Well, they've already said that the first 3 years average $42 million per year.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
the free.
Well, I don't know what he's going to make next year. That's the issue. Because his salary cap's year to year, so it just matters what next year's salary cap is.
But see, I just don't see Seattle trying to. I don't see how they can.
I don't either. That's why I said I'm playing devil's advocate.
Gotcha.
Stranger things have happened. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. So also the Cowboys avoid another franchise tag situation with this extension. Franchise tag designation deadline is tentatively scheduled still for tomorrow, which is Tuesday, March 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But there are reports that the deadline will be pushed back because the cap amounts have yet to be announced. So it is known that it will not be below 180 million. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. So, we could probably expect an announcement early tomorrow, mid-morning maybe, about being pushed back, the franchise deadline I'm talking about, or whether it's going to still be at 4 p.m. So next week, the free agency begins, negotiations, March 17th, and teams can start talking legally to free agents. They hope to sign with the release of Carlos Dunlap today. The Seahawks have about 18 million to try and negotiate, get some players, what have you. Also, the reports are that they want to re-sign Dunlap, the Seahawks I'm speaking about, to a lower base salary, of course, laden with incentives. And I also heard that Dunlap does indeed want to come back here. So we'll see. He's 32. He's about the same age as Russ is, actually. And he's the best pass rusher the Seahawks have by far. So, and his impact, if you want to know what his impact was, well, the first 8 weeks of 2020, the Seahawks were near the bottom of the NFL in pass rush. But after picking him up, I think week 10, I believe it was, that half of the season, the Seahawks were in actually, believe it or not, in the upper tier of teams with the pass rush because of him. So, we'll have to see how that transpires, if they can re-sign him or if somebody swoops in and offers him a boatload of cash and he says, see you later. What do you think?
I think that who knows? All indications are basically, according to his press conferences, is that he wants to stay in Seattle and that he likes the franchise and he likes being in a winning franchise. And the environment is totally different than what he's accustomed to, having played his career with the Cincinnati Bungles. And so it all depends. I think that he will re-sign because of the shrunken salary cap.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of players right now signing 1 and 2 year deals for 50% of what they made last year because of the salary cap. And so it's a buyer's market in terms of being able to get players for a whole lot less money than you would normally be able to get them. And so he falls into that category where there's a lot of good defensive ends that are free agents. And whereas they might have tried to get 13 to 15 million in a normal cap year, this year you could maybe be signing for 8-9 million. And so we'll see. I'm certain that the Seahawks will come up with somebody, but I'm sure they're hoping to re-sign Dunlap. They talked about. I heard Pete Carroll talking about cutting him and re-signing him to the Seahawks at a lesser salary.
Right. Yeah, that was not a secret by any stretch. And one last thing. Last week, Ben Roethlisberger reworked his deal with Pittsburgh to free up some space, so they have the opportunity to try and sign some help. What does it mean with Ben coming back? Well, all it means really is he gets one more chance to try and get back to the Super Bowl. But they got a lot of issues they got to clear up. They got Juju Smith-Schuster, who's a free agent, and honestly, I think there's better receivers out there they could probably get and just go ahead and let him go. And of course, they've got issues on the defense because of injury. So, he's going to give it one more go, but I don't see much change.
They signed him for 2 or 3 years? I
forget, to be honest, how they restructured it.
I think they signed him for at least 2.
Right. So I think, they need to draft a quarterback or have a plan C. And plan C is going to have to be either pick up somebody like Jameis Winston, but Jameis Winston is ready to start. He if you didn't know, Jameis Winston had LASIK surgery recently. So part of his problem was his eyesight, is what they're saying. So he got LASIK, so his eyes are cleared up. And hey, listen, I didn't have LASIK, but I know all about getting your eyes cleared up. And it's a world of difference, let me tell you. I'm only wearing these because it's better for reading, but other than that, man, it's great. So we'll find out what happens with Jameis and what Pittsburgh's going to do, because they're definitely going to have to look for a quarterback. They can't waste time waiting on Big Ben to try and win now.
Lost Maurice Pouncey as well due to retirement.
Right, absolutely. Good point.
They got a lot of holes to fill over there. Yeah. I won't be surprised if they go with a quarterback though in the draft. It's like they almost have to.
Yeah. But the problem is where they draft. They don't draft in the top 10. So either they're gonna have to make a trade to move up, or they're gonna have to find a gem, and those are hard to find.
Luckily, this is a draft where there are a lot of good quarterbacks that are slated to go in that first round. So yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said that there's upwards to 5 QBs slated to go in the first 10 picks. So we'll see if that actually happens. As far as Jameis Winston goes, Sean Payton expects Jameis Winston to be his starting quarterback come September. And so we'll see what happens with that. If that's the case, they're going to have to shell out some money for Jameis.
Yeah.
Because as a starting quarterback, you can't be making less than your backup. And they went and signed what's that dude's name?
What, Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah. They went and signed him to a big contract last year. And
right.
That's interesting as well, because they signed him with the intent on when Drew Brees retires that he was going to get a shot at being QB number 1. So that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, well, here's the issue. They leapfrogged Jameis and made him the starting quarterback when Drew Brees was out. And then they realized that he couldn't do it because he played well against bad teams. And then when they got to some decent teams, he stunk it up. and so now that that experiment's over. It's back to him being the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
So that's
making his money.
Yeah, and that's what Sean Payton and my cousin Jonathan, if you're listening, he's a Saints fan, and we had this discussion during the season, and I kept saying, okay, wait for defenses to figure him out. I'm talking about Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Once you figure out Taysom Hill, you can pretty much shut him down. And so he's not an accurate thrower, which is his problem. And you have Jameis, who's an accurate thrower, throwing the ball, even if he thinks he's throwing it to his team and it's somebody else. So he had 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in his last starting gig at Tampa Bay. So hopefully that LASIK will take down those interceptions. But Jameis, he's been my guy since college and at Florida State. And so I would like to see him get the starting job at New Orleans and do well, because he's a winner. And so
he's got weapons.
What'd you say, Pep?
And he's got weapons.
Yeah. The only thing is they are losing or apt to lose, because they're millions of dollars over the salary cap. They're 50. Apt to lose a couple of offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So
they're about 50 million over.
Yeah. Yeah. So they've got some real cap issues that their capologists are going to have to figure out. And so we'll see what happens there. I heard that Carolina is down on Teddy Bridgewater.
Yep.
And looking for another QB. So Teddy Bridgewater might be a good QB to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That you might want to look at. I don't know. I know Teddy wants to be a starter. But if they bring in somebody to replace him at Carolina, then he's going to have to make a choice on what he's going to do if no one else picks him up as a starting quarterback. And he may go the route that Jameis went and go and sit behind Big Ben at Pittsburgh and wait for Big Ben to retire at the end of the season.
Do you think the Saints could possibly give Teddy a look with, what he did with them?
I think absolutely, especially if somebody else signs Jameis before they do, or if Jameis goes somewhere else. I totally expect them to try to get Teddy. What'd you say?
Yes, you're right, because Jameis is a free agent. He is not tied to New Orleans.
Yes. All right, it's time for us to take a break. I want to thank everybody on Facebook and YouTube and wherever watching. LidLine Sports, especially John Hughley, Michael Carter, Doreen Ing, Rhonda Dorsey, and the rest of you all who are faithful, Bill Walker Jr., GQ Taylor, to the broadcast. You can listen to Rainier Avenue Radio on all your you can listen to LidLine Sports on all your podcast platforms, including Rainier Avenue Radio and Facebook, on Twitch and YouTube. We'll be right back after these messages with Lil O and the NBA All-Star Weekend shenanigans right after this.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not using my GPS to navigate the land of 1,000 dances, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Do you know what to do if you think you might have COVID-19? Or what to do if you know you've been exposed? Here's how you can help protect your community. Stay home if you're not feeling well, even if you have mild symptoms. If you were in contact with someone who's sick, stay home while you watch for symptoms. Help may be available to get groceries and supplies. Get tested as soon as you can. Free testing may be available. Respond quickly when a contact tracer gets in touch. An interviewer will ask about people you've been in close contact with. You can follow these 3 steps to help find and stop the spread of infections. When everyone in your community does their part, businesses and schools can reopen safely. Find a testing location and learn more at coronavirus.wa.gov.
March is Women's History Month, and this year's theme is The Valiant Women of the Vote Refusing to be Silenced. It pays homage to the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote here in the United States. Please stay tuned to Rainier Avenue Radio.world, shows and special programs highlighting and dedicated to honoring women on Women's History Month here. Please check us out at www.rainieravenue.world.
Join Rainier Avenue Radio from 5 to midnight for Sunday evening sound sessions. Jazz from the Cabinets from Big Poppy.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Sergio LaCour's Love Lines.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell her who we talking to.
Sage Prince and Just My Opinion.
This is Sage, and that's just about going to do it for the first half of Just My Opinion.
K-Fox Night Beat with Nasty Ness Rodriguez.
The beat of the Fox. K-Fox Night Beat, Nasty Ness.
You know what? You're going to listen from 5 to midnight. Just turn it on and don't stop. DJ Alibaba. The Underground Surround Sound Star Time with Paul Pearson.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pearson.
Sunday evening sound sessions on Rainier Avenue Radio. Trust me, you'll be listening the entire time from 5 to mid Sunday evening. Your sound session on Rainier Avenue Radio.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media. Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world. And on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Hello, I'm Granville Emerson, and welcome back to LidLine Sports with Renault, Pepe and Lil O Stevenson. The All-Star game was yesterday. They put it on under much conversation and speculation, and LeBron didn't want to play in the All-Star game, so he played about 5 minutes and sat down, right?
Only played the first quarter.
Mission accomplished.
Luckily, he put his GM hat on when they drafted on Thursday and picked a hell of a squad. I don't understand how KD allowed LeBron to have Jokic, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and LeBron, and I know I'm missing other players all on one team. I don't understand how Kyrie or KD let that happen. So I wasn't surprised by the final score at all.
Domantas Sabonis wins the skills challenge. Now, what's up with the big dudes winning the skills challenge, Otis?
I mean, that's credit to how the game is played today and how far we came along with the skill set of the bigs. And you know, Shaq, who was a commentator, and that was, I mean, we know he's an advocate for the big man, but he was saying that during the competition that it's a different game now for the big men. The big men are able to pass, shoot, and dribble at a high level. And, you know, a lot of the guards like Kenny Smith was saying that there's no way that no big was going to win this because of, you know, the shooting part of the competition. But Vucevic, who was a runner-up, is a very good shooter. Domantas Sabonis was not shooting well during the season, though, but he has proven to be a very good outside shooter. It's not necessarily surprising. I do think I am a little shocked that a guard doesn't win, but those guys that were in it are very skilled, definitely.
Yeah, it was really interesting that I thought CP3 was going to win it, but he didn't.
He was a favorite, him and Luka.
But he missed the layup. You're going to miss a layup, Chris Paul. Shout out to Chris Paul. He's doing some great and outstanding things in terms of bringing resources and courses to Winston-Salem University, historically black college in his hometown in North Carolina. So kudos to you, Chris Paul, the NBA Players Association president as well. The three-point shootout was really good.
It was. And for those who didn't know, Mike Conley was a last-minute addition to the All-Star Sunday due to Devin Booker twisting his knee in his last game. And Devin Booker was supposed to be in three-point contest, so Mike Conley took over that too. And we all know Mike Conley can shoot. And, you know, Steph Curry is always the runaway favorite when it has anything to do with the shooting contest, and very rightfully should be. But Mike Conley gave him a run for his money, and it came down to Steph Curry's last 3-point shot to win it. So like you said, Pepe, it was a really good 3-point contest. Steph Curry put on a show in the first round for sure. And then Mike Conley stayed consistent and, was able to give him a run for his money. But, yeah, man, just watching Steph Curry, especially like in a shooting contest, man, it's poetry in motion. And you can't go wrong watching that, man. You love to see it.
Yeah, well, he shows you what kind of gamer Steph Curry is. Mike Conley Jr. put up 26 in the final round. And Steph got to what's the money ball worth?
So the money ball is worth 2, but this year they added I want to say they added a Mountain Dew ball that's worth 3 points. That's a little further back from the wings, and Steph hit both of those, and that was a game. That was big.
So Steph was tied at 26 and needed the money ball to win. And he hit the money ball, which gave him 28, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. Were you guys surprised with Zach's performance? I thought Zach was going to be the one to challenge Steph Curry.
Yeah. Well, they talked about it before the game as well, with talking about Zach shooting most of his threes off the dribble, and he admitted that he didn't have many catch and shoot threes. And so that's another aspect of his game that he probably needs to step up. And so, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, because I think he's definitely 50, 40, 90 club right now. So,
yeah.
But Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, all those guys are definitely off the dribble. That's why I didn't really put much stock into them. I guess Mike Conley is more of definitely a set shooter, so that makes sense. And then you had your dunk contest.
Wait, Pep had something. What did you say, Pep?
Oh, my bad, Pep.
Oh no, it's okay. I was gonna say Zach, he got 22. So in a normal your average competition, he would have been right up there at the top, because usually they end up 23, 24, 22. So he had a decent showing. At least he didn't get stuck in the team. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah, and then you had your dunk contest, and the dunk contest was it was definitely, I guess, my stance on it. So the dunk contest was between Portland Trailblazers guard Anthony Simmons, who won. What was that? Anthony Simons, yes. New York Knicks rookie Obi Toppin, and then Indiana Pacers rookie. Oh, I can't think of his name right now.
Cassius Stanley.
Yes, Cassius Stanley. Who was my favorite because I've seen him in high school. And he's a superior athlete. Obi Toppin being a big kind of. What was that, Pep?
I'm sorry. He got robbed on his first dunk.
He did.
That's what killed. That's what killed it. He was done after that.
And I think with the slam dunk contest, I thought the dunks were all solid, but there definitely is a star appeal about it when you get guys like possibly a Zach like we had before, or when a lot of people advocated for Zion Williamson to be in it, and when you don't get those names, I feel like it takes away from the game. I mean, I know back when you guys were younger, the All-Stars were in the dunk contest. Nowadays, it's so hard to get. I don't know when's the last time we've had an All-Star in the dunk contest. I'm maybe thinking Dwight Howard. I could be wrong. But, yeah, it's these guys are, I won't say too cool, but they don't – I just feel like they don't even second think when it even comes to the dunk contest anymore.
Well, number one, they know it's too hard, right? There's been so many dunks. What can you do?
Creative.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do that really hasn't been seen before?
I mean, I don't know. We say that every year, and then we see at least one new dunk a year. So, I mean, I don't know.
Like, what did we see new this year except for dude grab it off the top of the square?
That's one. That's all I said. One.
Okay. I felt like it's so bad that they threw a ringer in to the dunk contest this year. Cassius Stanley has only played in 3 freaking games.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like
that was March 1st, 3rd, and 4th, so they gave him some games so he can get into the dunk contest.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know, like, you know, if the NBA asks, you know, the top tier guys, the fan favorites, or like what the case is, I don't know. But yeah, no,
let's be honest. The dunk contest is played out. They gotta find something more innovative to do as far as a challenge for that. So I'm thinking either, and I heard a pretty decent idea this morning when someone says, you know, maybe they shouldn't have a dunk contest every year. Maybe they should have it every other year or every 3 years. That way it'll get guys to prepare and get guys, you know, to figure it out. My idea is perhaps they get like a couple of YouTube guys. There's some guys on YouTube that do some outrageous dunks. Have a YouTube versus NBA versus, you know, challenge.
Nobody from the NBA want to dunk because they don't want to get beat by YouTube dudes.
But see, the thing is, these YouTube dudes, that's what they do. They dunk, right?
That's my point.
And it's not a shame to lose to a guy that's all he does. But if you're a pro ball player, you're a baller. But you can have that dunk.
That's why dudes ain't doing the slam dunk contest now, because they don't want to lose.
Well, also, is it the slam dunk contest not as good as the 3-point contest now? So
no, I think because like I said,
the 3-point contest should be the showstopper now rather than the dunk contest.
Because the expectations are greater in the slam dunk contest. You've seen so many different slam dunks that when somebody does a great slam dunk, it's really not. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I think that goes back.
Like Obi Toppin's dunk. That was a great dunk, and everybody was like, oh.
Well, see, I think that goes also back to my point. You make a good point, Pep, that, you know, the 3-point contest over the last 4 or 5 years has been like the showstopper. But I think that is because the premier 3-point shooters are in the 3-point contest.
Yeah,
which leads for excitement. When you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Damian Lillard, who are also all-stars in the 3-point contest.
You don't have to be creative to be in the 3-point shooting contest. You just got to be able to shoot.
I think these guys can be creative. I don't think that.
How you got to be creative in 3-point shooting contest?
No, I'm saying I think these guys can get creative in the dunk contest world. I'm saying that I think that they can. I think these guys can still get innovative. I mean, I don't know. That's just personally. I just think the star-studded power is just not there. Like I said, we went from having Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Sean Kemp, Vince Carter, who are all stars as well.
Yeah, but see, they all did that early in their careers. Once you get established and who you are, you don't want to do that anymore.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. Zion Williamson's a rookie, or a second-year player.
Yeah, but he's at
in the slam dunk contest.
Now, you guys can't tell me if Zion was in the dunk contest, everybody would have been popcorn ready to sit down and watch.
Why wasn't he in the dunk contest?
I don't know. I'm guessing something injured, like being safe off the injury.
He's had knee injuries.
Yeah,
and stuff
so
like
being
that.
safe. That's what I can think. That's one thing I can think.
Listen, this is his first All-Star game, so he didn't want to miss that. So he don't want to tweak nothing, pretty much.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it becomes a liability issue.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely for sure. And I think that's a big reason too why a lot of all-stars aren't in the dunk contest.
Yeah. All right.
Sunday we had the All-Star. After that, we had the All-Star game. Everything was a little different this year. Everything was on Sunday. The All-Star game was definitely a snoozer in my opinion. I turned it off for a little bit after I saw LeBron was taking jumpers pretty much. And I think, G, you tweeted something about so some jumpers in Magic City and a lot of people missing jumpers.
Like there was at Magic City all night eating wings.
Yeah. I saw
with Lou Williams.
I seen LeBron not taking it easy. Giannis was just like playing by himself. The man was 16 for 16. I don't know. It was a snooze. And then, of course, it sucked. No KD, no Joel Embiid for the K Team KD team, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons was not able to show up due to contact tracing with their barber in Philadelphia. He had a test that was inconclusive, so they could not come. I did hear that they do not have COVID, and they are fine back in Philadelphia right now, waiting for the second half of the season. But yeah, and then, they did the Kobe roll as well. They added 24 points, but Team LeBron was already up by like 20 points at this time. But what was the good thing about this, and I think what was the good thing about the whole weekend, Team LeBron was able to donate $1 million by winning each quarter in the game to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And then Team Durant was donated $500,000 to the United Negro College Fund. And I just thought it was great all weekend seeing the NBA and, just like you said, the NBA Players Association. I saw a lot of small business loans to black businesses, a lot of loans or a lot of money was given to a lot of nonprofits under black people, and it was just really dope to see the NBA put their hands on black culture and embracing it, and we all see what they did for a lot of the HBCUs and a lot of students. That was my highlight of All-Star Weekend for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the whole game. I normally don't ever watch a whole All-Star game like in the last 10 years, but I watched the whole game. And to me, the intrigue was two things. Number one, the shootout with Dame Dollar and Steph Curry, because they put on a shooting display.
It just shows you how crazy, like, these guys are able to extend their three-point range. Now, those guys were shooting half-court shots comfortably, like it was a regular three-point shot.
Well, Dame hit the game winner one step inside the half-court line.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? So it just shows you how much the game has evolved and changed into a three-point shooting game. And that's why they blew out Team Durant, because they had the three-point shooters on their team. And in the first half, Steph and Dame were going off. And then the second part was the whole thing with Giannis was hilarious.
And they had Giannis on their team as well, too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Giannis was 16 for 16 and 3 for 3 for the three-point line with 3 bank shots for the three-point line. He was 15 for 15, and the announcers were talking about whether or not he had set a record because he hadn't missed a shot, and he pulled up from 3, and they were going, no! And it banked in. And so all of that was entertaining to me at the least. And then, so I just stuck around to see the rest of it, basically just to see how deep Dame was going to shoot and how deep Steph was going to shoot. Basically, that was the interest for me. Just like I remember, Dame didn't want to play either. I remember going to the Golden State game at Oracle Arena, and when I got in there and sat down, I was mad that I didn't go early enough to see Steph Curry's warm up, because I wasn't thinking. All right, because his warm up is legendary in terms of his shooting drills that he does. So I wish I would have had a chance. The only time I've been to a Golden State game, I wish I would have went early enough to see his warm up. And so what you're looking at in him and Dame are two unique, one of a kind, new era basketball players.
Definitely. I want to give some LidLine NBA first half awards for the season, since the season is broken up into 2 halves. My MVP for the first half will be Joel Embiid. What was that?
You giving out money?
Just a little bit of some flowers. Just some flowers.
Giving out virtual Bitcoin.
Yeah, I got Joel Embiid, very delightfully so, averaging around 28 points a game, over 11 rebounds. Philadelphia 76ers first in the East. Definitely will say that he is the favorite for the MVP for the whole season. My defensive player, it was pretty interesting. I wanted to get away from the names we hear all the time, which is Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis. Ben Simmons, who I personally think is the best on-ball defender in today's NBA. I personally watched him guard Luka Doncic about a few weeks ago, and the man did a great job. And like I said, he's a multidimensional defensively. He guards multiple players night in, night out, from the best scorer and so on. So my defensive player goes to him. Most improved, this can go to many players, but Julius Randle and what he's doing with the New York Knicks, his numbers have shot up across the board. The New York Knicks are right now sitting in 4th place, over 500 for the first time. And
I got another name for you. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you got to give some depth to a guy that's on he's on a losing team, unfortunately. But nobody expected Jeremy Grant to be the scorer he is. I mean, come on. He's averaging 23, 25 points a game. You know, man. So there's playoff teams that missed out on him.
I think I only didn't give it to him because of the losing, but it's funny because
exactly. You're right. Absolutely. I just want to get his name out there because he's been doing it.
And I felt like I thought. What was that, G?
The whole Grant's son?
Yes.
Horace Grant.
No, that's his nephew, right?
Nephew?
No, that's his son. That's
Horace.
Harvey's.
I thought that was Harvey's son. Okay.
Well, okay.
Actually, I think you're right, Otis. I think it's Harvey's son and Horace Grant's nephew.
Yeah.
Right?
One of the cats.
But yeah, I thought that he was just, just getting his money and then possibly going to get traded. I mean, but he's played in the hands of Detroit, so they don't want to move him, and rightfully so. 6th man of the award, I think this is a runaway. Jordan Clarkson on the best team in the NBA is having an amazing year, capitalizing off what he did last year. Like I said, it's a runaway as long as he keeps playing at a high level that he's playing at. Best coach, I almost gave it to Doc, but I think the Philadelphia 76ers are good enough to be where they're at. Monty Williams has done a hell of a job for the Phoenix Suns, who are sitting second in the West. Not only that, but the second best record in the NBA.
Well, Quinn Snyder
What was that, Pep?
I said Quinn Snyder got to be up there, right?
Yes, definitely. And then maybe I got a little favoritism here.
I hear you.
With my team.
I got to keep you in check, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Biggest surprise teams, talked about them already, the Phoenix Suns sitting second in the West, and then the Charlotte Hornets, who I don't think anybody expected for them to kind of take a leap already.
Ball, baby.
Yeah, Ball.
Terry Rozier.
And Terry Rozier as well. Gordon Hayward coming back, having a good year. The Charlotte Hornets are looking now to make a playoff run, and I would not be surprised if they try to, add some pieces here with the trade deadline coming up. My biggest disappointments, the New Orleans Pelicans. I thought that they had enough roster-wise to definitely be in the hunt to be around the 5-6 area. Right now, they are under 500, around 11th place in the West. I don't know if this is to do with coaching or whatnot, but they are atrocious defensively. For Stan Van Gundy to be such a great offensive coach, and when it comes to inside-out basketball, they have been terrible at guarding the three-point line. So we'll see if they can turn that around. Then Toronto Raptors are still under 500. Luckily, the Eastern Conference is bad this year, so they probably will make the playoffs. But I thought they had enough to contend with a lot of those top teams. I don't know if they will this year. And then I didn't have it in here, but Rookie of the Year, definitely. It's hands down runaway. LaMelo Ball will be a Rookie of the Year, bar he doesn't have any injuries. Some quick news. Detroit Pistons and Blake Griffin finally agreed on a buyout over the weekend. And Blake Griffin, the rumors was either the Boston Celtics or Brooklyn Nets. He made the decision to sign with the Brooklyn Nets for the rest of the season on a veterans minimum. The rich get richer. We'll see how this works. This is not all-star Blake Griffin anymore. So I don't know why people are with this oh, well, Brooklyn's just running away with the championship now. I don't know why.
What they did was get another defenseless player.
Exactly. So the question is like, are you going to start him? Why would you start him? And you're even worse defensively now. I don't see why you would do that.
Yeah, he's not the same Blake Griffin. And do you guys know that he is not, believe it or not, he has not dunked in a basketball game since 2019.
Mm-hmm. And that's
crazy.
That is crazy. And that just shows you where he's at, where with his body and wear and tear. And
right.
Yeah, I don't know if that helped him. I understand the name of who Blake Griffin is, and I do think he'll help, but I don't think it's enough to put them just straight over the top.
He's a pick and pop now, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Nets star Kyrie Irving talked about changing the NBA logo to the late Hall of Fame player Kobe Bryant last week. Adam Silver said that the office had not made any talks about the change. I'm really interested into wondering, if that's really going to be a serious discussion here in the next couple of years. What do you guys think?
Only if the players make it a serious discussion.
I agree.
Yep.
And then second half of the season, we back up Wednesday, Wizards versus Grizzlies, followed by Spurs versus Nuggets. My power rankings going to the second half of the season. Got the Utah Jazz sitting at number 1. The Brooklyn Nets, we've seen what they've done since KD's been out, sitting at number 2. The Philadelphia 76ers continue to roll. They're sitting at first in the East. I got them at 3. And I had the Phoenix Suns leapfrogging the LA Lakers after they put a shellacking on them and are playing better than them. Not better than them, but are playing better than them right now. And then I do have the number 5, LA Lakers still sitting there, holding on to the number 5 spot. LeBron got about 2 to 3 more weeks and see if he can hold on. And I'm pretty sure that's a big reason why he didn't play that many minutes, because he knows that he is about to play a lot of heavy minutes in the second half of the season, which is your favorite part of the NBA season, G. And it's go time now for everybody.
Let's get it started. I'm waiting on that. Thanks, O. Thanks, Pep. Great show, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you watching LidLine Sports. It's Women's Week. Find all your Women's Week activities and information on RainierAvenueRadio.world. Be nice to a woman, especially your mama and your girl, if you got one. Anyway, LidLine Sports, that's sports as we see it from just below our lid. Holler at us next week.
I go to work like a doctor when I rock